What's up, YouTube? Scoring Talent here, bringing you some NHL 19. I'm here in practice mode. I'm going to go over some tips, tricks, different things, my take on shootouts, breakaways, because you encounter these in any mode you're playing, whether it be hot versus or EASHL. In particular, EASHL World of Chell 3s, where every penalty is a shootout, goal, or shot. So with that, get started. And one thing, usually when I get in this mode, I tend to try and pick a player with a lot weaker attributes. Someone usually in the 80 to 85 range, if that has less deking, less hands. I think it makes more of a relatable difference to when you play in a regular game where you're not always going to be coming in with Jamie Benn like I am here. So you'll see, I'm just kind of skating around, getting a feel. This is what practice mode's all about, but going over first the backhand forehand. This has been the bread and butter breakaway for 7 or 8 EA NHL games. It's fairly simple to do. There's a rhythm to it. This year, I think there's a slight difference. The goalies tend to actually have some quality to them. They're actually going to make a play on the puck. Particularly, I've found from if you're left-handed on the right-handed side and if you're right-handed on the left-handed side. So the backhand forehand in the traditional sense isn't really working the same way. So what I have found is if you stay to the left or the left center, so I'm left-handed, so it'd be the opposite if you're right. You mean staying on your forehand side and cutting back across with the backhand. You see me doing it right there. I just think staying on the left hashes because I'm left-handed is really, really the key there. Sometimes, like right there, I'm getting in too tight on the goalie, so you want to really get that backhand in before, probably halfway in between the last hash mark to the goalie and approaching the goalie, or you're going to get poked or leg padded like that. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. Some things consider people like to throw in a fake shot, like right there. That kind of is a cadence type of thing. I haven't found it's really that necessary, but it does help you if you're starting in the process. But sometimes that slows you way down, can get you poked or get you lifted or tripped or something. So it's something to consider. Other things I like to do in this is, this year it seems significantly different. You can't just glide in on the goalie. I think speed is a big thing in this NHL 19 atmosphere. I've found, especially penalty shots, breakaways, you can get away with a lot more if you're coming in quick. Obviously you're turning it off when you're getting in close, but in the past, particularly EASHL, last year, you came in too hot, you weren't going to score. You wanted to really just glide in and use the puck controls, but now you fly, it works a lot better. So, right there, no move. I recently got a elite controller and messing with key bindings and different things, and it's really changing the gameplay. So, you see me just tooling around. But yeah, that's really the backhand forehand in a nutshell. A lot of times just work with it. You'll see what does and doesn't work. Main thing, get the goalie moving, get him butterflying, get his pads on the ice, move him to one post or the other and shoot the other way. That's what I find successful. Or you could do like that with a half animation. Half animation being, you don't make the full joystick skill stick movement. You stop halfway and shoot up. It tends to work. It was especially successful last NHL 18. But it's definitely carried over. It works for shooting as well. But on we go. Yeah, way too close to the goalie there. Yeah, and this is what, this practice mode's all about. Don't worry about keeping that number up top, 100 to 0. Just go in, get used to making the stick movements, make full rotations, keep practicing them, try at different angles, everything. But that's about it for the backhand forehand. Let's move on to the one-handed tuck, which again in NHL 18 was a bread and butter type of move. I know it requires some kind of button combination, so it's a little tougher to pull off if you're not familiar with your controller or the button combination. But here on Xbox, it's all you're doing is going to a forehand or a backhand. You're hitting the left bumper, right bumper in sequence, and then it'll one-hand it like that. So in NHL 18, I always found you could do it from out wide best because you needed to get that angle kind of towards the goal, the cross crease angle. This time, in NHL 19, all modes, I don't think that works as well. I think the hit box is slightly smaller, but it's still pretty clear. So right there, you'll see the first one. I found speed burst the whole way, hit the last hash mark, go through your rotation. Don't be too close, that's what'll happen like there. But you're speeding, you're going straight in, you're hitting it. Works every time. Seems to be a sweet spot somewhere in between there and the hash mark. Again, you got to be paying attention to the goalie. I'd say putting at least the goalie's mask partially covering the post if it's looking from your point of view as you approach him. But every time, speed burst, boom, boom, it's right in. Works all modes. And I've never really tried it on the backhand as much because you can hit it from all sides, but I just think this is the sweet spot, maybe the easiest spot if you get a breakaway down the middle of the ice to go to. Way too close there. Initially I used to think also at this point you'd start skating towards and really cutting towards the sideboards, like back to the left there. Maybe if you're imagining the goal is 12 o'clock on the face of a watch, you'd be going towards 10:30 or 11. But I don't really think it's necessary. I think kind of the natural motion of the one-handed tuck makes you go that way. And, it works. But right here I'm just trying to see kind of how close, what process you need to put the goalie through. It all comes down to X's and O's and how this computer's programmed and what they're going to do to behave with certain reactions to the puck. And again, it's all finding that sweet spot. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You'll find new ones, old ones. And as updates like this one just came out, I think the dekes on the goalie are a little bit easier than they were upon release of the game. But yeah, that's really it. You might see a lot of leg pads. I've had some streaks with this one, and again, I think it comes down to positioning and speed more than anything. That I was coming in too much from the right as a left-handed shot trying it. I wasn't coming in fast or hard enough, getting too close. And when you're playing games and you miss 4 of these in a row, it doesn't feel like in practice mode because it could be a period or two before you get the next chance. But just having it in your arsenal, I think it's a pretty handy thing. It's definitely still very viable as an option to score goals. So right here, I'm kind of switching. Could do the one-hand tuck. Upon release, I had seen some footage, different things about that being the new kind of meta for breakaways. That you come down from the end, you skate backwards, you snipe top shelf near post. And you see, that's what I'm trying right there. It's not really, I don't know if the patch closed it. I don't know if my timing's off because, again, I see no real reason if I'm going through my checkdowns to incorporate that as my go-to goal when I can usually do a backhand, forehand, or a one-hander. But yeah. Well guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions, anything that you think I can help out. I'll be glad to do so. Thanks, have a great night.